Continuing our focus on the seemingly intractable security problems in the sub-Saharan Africa, we commenced a three-part series of the issue of insecurity last week to look at the apparent and remote causes of insecurity in sub-Saharan Africa with particular focus on Nigeria, as well as seek enduring solutions to the problems. The most populated nation in Africa is under criminal siege, unfortunately threatening the peaceful existence of the country. Nigeria has suffered recurrent attacks on schools in the northern part of the country in recent times. Over 300 students of the government science secondary school were abducted from the school in Kankara in Katsina State at the time the President and Commander-in-Chief of Nigerian Armed Forces was in the state for his vacation in December. What an affront. While the dust over the Kankara abduction was yet to settle, two schools came under attack again, with students held hostage. About 37 students, including teachers and their family, were kidnapped from Government Science College, Kankara in Niger State on 17th February, just about a week after bandits struck again, unfortunately, at another school, this time at the government girls secondary school Jangebe in Zamfara State, taking away 279 students. These abductions do not include countless raids on major highways on our roads where passengers are abducted aimlessly. They are abducted with huge ransom for their release. While it is good news that these students that have been abducted have been released, Nigerians recall that Leah Sharibu, who was among the 276 students of the government girls secondary school in Chibok, Borno State, kidnapped by Boko Haram on the 14th April 2014, is still in captivity with no indication of when she will be released. Communities and families have been thrown into trauma, unsure of when and where the next attack will take place anywhere in Nigeria, especially in the northern part of the country. The timeline of incessant attacks on Nigerians attracted a national outrage. We're pushing it global now, with Nigerians calling on the federal and state government to swiftly guarantee the security and safety of lives and property that may have spurred on the president to order a shoot-aside directive to the security agents of anyone carrying AK-47, as well as declaring Zamfara a no-fly zone area. We say, well, it's a good move, but it's not enough. But on the program today, we shall be reviewing the security situation in Nigeria, where students are also victims of kidnapping, as well as examining the efforts by security agencies to contain the situation. How can Nigeria address the endemic social ill to restore security to a country most hit by poverty, where almost 70% of Nigerians are poor? Now we have insecurity. Can the proposed amnesty for terrorists help to mitigate violent attacks in communities, schools, and major highways? To what extent can the African Union and its members achieve effective response to terrorism? These and many more are the issues we'll look at within the limited time we have on the program today. My guest, I have two guests, one currently seated in London, David Smith, the CEO of British African Business Alliance, BABA. It's a consortium of business leaders, investors, and development organizations expanding in Africa and into Africa from the United Kingdom. And I'm also joined by Honorable Awaji Dagomi, who is joining us from the Green Chambers, currently in Rivers State at the moment, a member of Nigeria's House of Representatives. Gentlemen, thank you for taking your time to join us on the program today. Let's quickly go on a short break, and we'll bring in our guests. It's going to be very interesting. We'll be taking a different dimension at the insecurity in Nigeria and the impact on foreign and direct, including economic life of Nigeria. Don't go away. It's going to be another good time. I'll be back. The world has become more connected than ever before. Every continent, color, race, language, and religion, even government, move towards common goals. We now live in a global village. Here on this program, we'll bring you global issues to shape our world.
Government can do a lot with tax revenues collected for health and education.
The role of the European Union is to accompany a partner, that is Nigeria, in offering our lessons learned to see whether together we can improve that situation.
The emphasis on education, on vocational training, on the development of entrepreneurship is absolutely critical to its democracy.
The Nigerian government, we would ask them to follow up the investigations that we have had, the evidence that we have gathered, and ultimately we made a number of recommendations.
As we travel the world, we explore these issues of international and diplomatic relevance. Indeed, the global agenda that determine our national and common interests. With me, Tunde Alabi, live on AIT. All right, welcome back, and it's still Global Matters here live on our channel, Africa Independent Television, where we bring you global issues. I've got my guests joining us. First, I have David Smith in London, the CEO of British African Business Alliance, joining us live, and also Honorable Awaji, a member of Nigeria's House of Representatives, joining us live on the program. Honorable and Smith, thank you for joining us on the program. But let me start with David here on the show. David, thank you for taking your time out of a very busy schedule in London to join us on the program. David, tell me, what is your view about the state of insecurity in Nigeria? You running a consortium, investors exploring business opportunities in Africa, and Nigeria being the biggest market in Africa. What are you hearing from your colleagues, from investors, potential investors, from members of your organization about coming to Africa, or indeed Nigeria at this time? What are your views and your thoughts on the security situation? David.
The security, good afternoon, and thank you very much for the opportunity. The security situation in Nigeria is telling. It's restricting one could dictionary of negatives to recount its impact on the potential of the country. And yet it's with that investment that things can change. And what we need to see, I think, is positive action from the Nigerian security forces and the Nigerian government. We also need to see Nigerians investing in Nigeria. And through that activity, we can see the country as a whole developing. There's no doubt that the country now, with 200 million people or thereabouts, is under significant pressure. And I commend the government for the actions that it's taking, but it's trying to make up for decades of delay in investment into the rural areas. And it's going to be very hard.
It's going to be very hard indeed to cope with what is happening in Nigeria, both in terms of attracting investment into the country and, of course, with Nigerians surviving the situation. Let me quickly turn to Honorable Awaji, who is currently in Rivers State, a member of Nigeria's House of Representatives. Honorable, thank you for taking your time to join us on the program today. Do you think, would you give it to the government that enough is being done, especially with the recent statement by the Nigerian government that there should be, the security forces should cite anyone found carrying AK-47, and of course the declaration of no fly zone on Zamfara? Is government doing enough? Has government done enough? Do we have confidence that this government will be able to nip this in the bud? Bearing in mind that even just a couple of hours ago, we still had another kidnapping again, abduction again, in the same Zamfara state. Do we have any confidence this government has the capacity to deal with this matter?
Thank you very much, Tunde, and good afternoon, Nigerians. We have traveled these parts quite often. You are trying to consider and look at the economic life.
Yes.
How has it affected the economic life?
Yeah.
I think Nigerians should first of all have a life. Nigerians should be alive. Nigerians should have a life before you begin to talk about economic life. No Nigerian today can honestly tell you wherever he is, that he is safe, and confidently so. None. except probably for those who have retinue of gun-wielding security men who escort them anywhere and everywhere they go. It is not restricted to the Northwest environment. It is not restricted to the Northeast. Neither is it restricted to the North Central. Everywhere, as I speak with you, my own traditional ruler, a first-class traditional ruler, has been abducted for close to 2 weeks today. Same for a lecturer with the University of Port Harcourt. These are the ones that have been reported. There are several other incidents that are not reported, probably because those who are involved or those who are affected don't have a voice or don't have the means to let their voice out. So if we have traveled this path for this number of years, and we are still doing the same thing over and over and over again, then I don't know why and how we should expect a different result. The question we should be asking ourselves is, what are we doing different from what we used to do? It has always been the same pattern. They take some people, we tell you, oh, we're on top of the situation. After a few days, they are out, probably ransom is paid. The people get back and come back stronger. And it is the same thing. We have canvassed severally. That the architecture of our security in this country needs to be altered. We have clamored for state police. A few have said, oh, if you give this police structure to the governors, hey, they will use it for probably things that they did not envisage it will be used for. People are not thinking about the next generation. Most people are concerned about how these security agencies will rig election or not rig election for them, how they will chase their perceived opponents and not chase their perceived opponents. So we should do things differently at this point, because every known measure that we have taken has not given us the desired result. Rather, more spaces are being lost by the day as we speak.
All right, thank you, Honorable.
Rivers State government had come up with a program, Neighborhood Watch. Who stopped it? Why was it stopped? Stopping that program, what has it contributed to them, or what has it removed from those who stopped it? Even in the same breath, there are states where a given outfit could muster the courage to arrest Nigerian police officers. You are very much aware of what we're talking about. In some states, a given security outfit can arrest policemen. Police officers could be arrested. So it simply means that there is no justice even in our quest for guaranteeing security and safety for our people. A group of people can have their own separate security outfit, others cannot have. So if we must get these things and get them right, we need to think out of the box. It is more dangerous not to try a new thing than to try and fail.
Right, thank you, Honorable, because this program is that of an international diplomatic outlook. David, now I've heard about so many Nigerians either picking up foreign passports, buying up foreign passports, all because they're probably thinking someday something's going to happen. And because these are people who've got the resources to pick up foreign passport. David, let me ask you, what is it that your friends in the United Kingdom, in Europe, in America are saying about Nigeria beyond investing in Nigeria at this time? Tell us, what stories are you hearing about Nigeria?
If I concentrate to begin with on my Nigerian friends,
yes,
there is an overwhelming love for the country. There is certainly nervousness about the security situation. And of course, under the pressure of COVID, we're all dealing with a world that is very much uncertain. But let me just give you an example. I was talking with a gentleman at the African Finance Corporation this morning, and he was pointing out that the railway line that runs between Rivers State and Borno State, between Port Harcourt and Maiduguri, has not been operating now for some years, but at one time was carrying 1 million tons.
Oh my God.
and what people are about, what I hear is an overwhelming desire to get involved in moving that business forward. These are the important things: getting business going, getting people creating wealth, getting people earning wages. Those are the critical matters. When people feel comfortable, they will feel safe. When they're not comfortable, when they're not earning, there's all the more reason for disruption and to an extent, terrorism.
So what?
So the worry is.
Go on, David.
The worries are there. The worries about the herdsmen, the worries about the terrorism in the north, the worries about what it is to visit down in the southeast, what's happening in the southwest. There's a whole stack of different concerns coming at me from the people that I talk to.
Yes, go on.
And yet there is a very benign attitude from major investors and the UK government about the future of Nigeria. I think there's also a worry about how a country with 200 million people changes over the next 28 years into a country with 400 million people. And I think our colleague this afternoon is absolutely right. We can't do the same things wrong again and again.
Does this account for the level of, I'm sorry, David, your line is breaking. Does this account for the level of capital flight in the country, money leaving the country, that we like it or not, people leaving the country and money also leaving the country, and resulting in the weakness of the Nigerian's local currency, Naira?
Well, I think, your question about the investment situation was clear. I was advised recently that there's something like 600 trillion, huge volume of money held by Nigerians not being invested in Nigeria.
Wow. Yeah.
That has to change. Nigerians need to invest. As they invest, the country will calm. As they begin to make profits from their businesses, when they employ people, the situation will begin to calm. That will make it easier for international investors to step forward. But I think that the government has to be looking at the infrastructure, the training that needs to go on. There needs to be vocational training. You need to give young people the opportunity to earn their own livings. There are too many people looking for the jobs. There's not enough attention being paid to waste. Fruit and vegetables that are being wasted, let alone the waste that is coming out of the towns and cities of Nigeria that ought to be contributing to the well-being of. We initiated a project in Zimbabwe. It's a $60 million waste-to-energy plant that is contributing 7 megawatts of power to the grid. And yet there must be many cities in Nigeria that ought to be using the same sort of technology. And this is where I think, the diaspora can come in. The international companies can come in where they have.
Do you think any member of the diaspora community, either in America, in Europe, will feel safe? I speak to many friends in America. I speak to many friends in Europe. If my own base in London, nobody. They keep asking, man, what are you doing in that part of the world? How are you coping? Who wants to come to Nigeria at this time? And you say diaspora members will come in to invest. Who? Would you come into this country despite your relationship with Nigeria, David? Would you?
I think I would. I'm always ready to return to Nigeria. I spent a number of years as a child in Nigeria, so it has a place in my heart. But I think more importantly, you have to balance the concern of people with the cancer of social unrest. And when you look at social unrest and you look at it in an international context, you need investment to flow. That's what was required after the crash of the 1930s. It happened in America, it happened in Germany, it happened in the rest of Europe. People created jobs. They got people things we need to see. And when I look at Nigeria, I see a big gap between leaving school and actually getting a job. And it may be a long time in university, it may be a number of degrees, but it's not contributing to the well-being of the economy. And that's where the focus needs to be.
Or that's where the focus needs to be. I'm sorry, David, let me put your hold. Let me return to Honorable Awaji. Honorable Awaji, David just spoke about trillions of naira being kept away in Nigeria, not deployed into the economy, not put into the system. Trillions of naira that probably would have created jobs, that probably would have helped the economy. Do you think if in Nigeria puts money, Nigerians, I'm aware Nigerians have money being kept away somewhere, down in the sock away, in the wardrobe, in their cupboard, under the bed. But do you think if Nigerians put money in the economy, investment, it can reduce the level of unemployment and cut down on the level of insecurity? Do you think that's a strategy that the government should link it to? Encourage people to come out with the money they have, rather than using EFCC to pursue them. Let them come out with the money they have and invest. Do you think that could be a strategy?
Yeah, thank you very much. I quite appreciate the concerns and the opinions aired that opening up the economy is a sure way to help in reducing the level of insecurity that we have. But the fundamentals have to be taken care of first. Would anyone go and invest in an uncertain environment? Which investments do we have that will give us the quick wins? The easiest that one can do probably would be to get involved in agriculture. Agriculture can take off quite a lot of people from the employment market. But can you actually go and farm today in Nigeria, no matter the part, whether in the northeast, in the northwest, in the southwest, southeast, without encumbrances, without challenges? If you cannot honestly go and cultivate your 2 hectares, your 20 hectares, your 100 hectares, and be sure that you can get return on that very investment, how then can you influence another man? How then can you attract somebody else to come and add value? If we get involved in very serious forms of agriculture, then we will now begin to think of how do we add value to what we have. Adding value will involve the transportation chain. Adding value would have to do with processing, which is lacking in this country. You produce a lot of tomatoes and it does not get to the table. You produce a lot of oranges and nobody is utilizing it. You produce a lot of yams and probably they get rotted before you can even ship them out for export. So if we can get the very best, and what is the very basic? The very basic is that the Nigerian will be able to leave his house, leave her house, and go to wherever he or she wants to go and come back safe. The Nigerian will be able to go to his or her farm, go to his or her ranch, go fishing anywhere, travel to go and deliver whatever it is, get involved in logistics management and come back and be safe. If we cannot guarantee the minimal is the security of humans, the security of Nigerians. And we have a fundamental responsibility because it is enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic. That is the sole responsibility. The very primary, the very basic, the most important roles of any government is to make sure that the citizens are safe. Then you can guarantee the welfare of the citizens. But as we speak, no matter what investment you want to get into, it's either you cannot guarantee that it will be done, or people who are angry, people who have been jobless will come and raise it down under one anger or the other. So Nigerians should sit back, sit down, discuss the way to guarantee security. Let us not forget that food security, to my mind, food security is even the most important component of the security architecture. Because if a man is hungry, he doesn't care about any other thing.
All right, Honorable, thank you so much. I wish I could just give you more time to keep giving us this portion of your, including David in London. David, this is how far I can go on this program. I still have one more week to talk about security issue in Nigeria. We have committed 3 weeks of this program to dealing with insecurity in Nigeria and calling government attention to this, and also calling the attention of our friends in the diaspora, in the international community, what is happening. David Smith, the CEO of British African Business Alliance in London, London. Thank you so much for your time. Very well appreciated. Hope to see you very soon. Thanks a lot,
Thank
sir.
you.
And Honorable Awaji Dagomi, currently in Rivers, thank you for taking the time out to join us on the program. We hope the National Assembly will be able to come up with a bill making ranching compulsory in Nigeria. That's going to be another talk for probably next week, how the National Assembly can help. This is how far I can go on the program today. Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of the program. My sincere appreciation to my colleagues who have made this happen. Thank you and enjoy your weekend. It's a good Friday.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة